together with Morocco, Angola, DR Congo, and Zambia.
Algeria from the set piece. The header is on target, but it's saved.
This unique competition featuring the best locally based players from across the continent definitely has something for everyone. Just bring your A game as you let it flow live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
A very good afternoon from wherever you are watching us. This is the Lunchtime News, where we'll be highlighting some of the news making headlines for you, including baby dumping, that is in Tharaka Nithi, and also issues of gender-based violence, including sports later on at the tail end of this bulletin. My name is Yambo, and of course helping me on the sign language is Anne Wangeshi. So let's begin with the Principal Secretary for Medical Services, that is Dr. Oma Oluga, has cautioned hospitals against seeking fictitious claims from the Social Health Authority, saying patients must get value for money. Now, the PS says the digitization of health systems will weed out rogue hospitals from the sector and work only with genuine healthcare providers. Oluga was speaking in Migori, where he challenged the Migori County government to fully adopt the digitized systems and ensure tracking of sharp payments across their 117 health sub-facilities in the county.
Digitization is going to help the facilities to claim for SHA, to register for SHA, to make sure that the data that they are giving is accurate and that that data is used to reimburse the claims.
Wote, all the 50 million Kenyans, tukasema iyo tarakimu ni pesa ngapi? Tukafanya hesabu, tukapata hiyo hesabu. Tukajiuliza, Mkenya yule ambaye hana uwezo atalipa nini? Kama sisi wote kama Wakenya tutapata hii manufaa ya SHA, lazima tusaidiane, tuweke pesa kwa kibeti.
Introduce kitu inaitwa SHA lipa pole pole. Mheshimiwa, hata saizi kwa SHA unaweza lipa kwa siku, unaweza lipa kwa wiki, unaweza lipa kwa mwezi moja.
The national government is responsible for you. The county government is responsible for you. And in order for you to enjoy any other right, your health security is very important to yourself, to the nation, and to the world.
The impeachment of Isiolo Governor, that is Abdi Guyo, has been ruled as null and void by the High Court sitting in Meru. Delivering the ruling, Justice Heston Nyaga affirmed that a conservatory order issued on June the 16th barring the impeachment proceedings remains in force. The police are investigating vandalism and shooting claims during the impeachment proceedings.
Isiolo County Governor Abdi Guyo was on Friday handed a lifeline by the Meru High Court that overturned his impeachment by the Isiolo County Assembly. Guyo had been impeached by all 16 present MCAs on Thursday for gross misconduct. However, the High Court in Meru said the conservatory order issued on June 16th remained legally binding and in force. The virtual ruling by Justice Heston Nyaga found Isiolo County Assembly Speaker Mohamed Roba in contempt of court and ordered him to appear before the court on Monday. The police in Isiolo have launched investigations into a shooting incident and acts of vandalism that occurred at the Isiolo County Assembly during the chaos that followed Thursday's impeachment proceedings. A 26-year-old Barak Abdullahi is also said to have been shot on the leg by a county official during the incident and receiving treatment at Almasi Medical Center in Isiolo County.
I was just standing by corner hapo hivyo. Sasa sijui imani nimenipiga, nimejikuta usini, nataka mnichunguzie nipate haki yangu.
Kitendo ambaye ijai happen hapa Isiolo. Leaders ambaye wanafaa kuongoza watu ndio ambaye wako tayari kumaliza raia.
Hiyo inaonekana ni bunduki kidogo. Sasa kutoka bastola hivi. Kwa sababu tumetoa maganda nini ya fragments ya risasi hiyo na ikai kama ni bunduki kubwa na bunduki kidogo.
Isiolo Sub-County Police Commander Joseph Mwendwa confirmed that police are investigating the matter.
Report that yesterday at around 17:06 hours, there was a report made at the Isiolo Police Station of a member of public who was shot at the area around the County Assembly of Isiolo, and the same is being investigated. The police have already seized of the matter, and the DCI are currently carrying out the investigation.
Giverson Maina, Lunchtime News.
Thank you, Giverson. Now, the Ministry of Health will post 6,484 healthcare interns under the 2025-26 internship cohort by 1st July 2025. Now, the interns will be deployed to accredited internship centers where they will undertake a 12-month structured internship program designed to provide supervised clinical training and practical exposure in real-world healthcare settings. In a statement released by the Ministry of Health, all eligible interns have been advised to collect their posting letters on Monday, the 30th of June, 2025. And the government has announced plans to revive the Tana Athi River Development Authority rice project in Tana Delta after the damage caused by the El Nino. Speaking during a tour of the river project, Head of Public Service Henry Koskei said the project was highly affected by the floods and authorities only managed to save about 100 acres. But despite challenges, they had increased production to over 1,000 acres. He urged collaboration between TARDA, investors and local communities to resolve water issues and legal disputes. So far, over 400 locals have been employed under the project, and the number is expected to go up as time goes by.
We are having a discussion. We have brought in National Irrigation Authority to come in with TARDA so that we can see how we can support the investors around here, either to revamp the current intake or to create a new intake that will make sure that we get enough water. In this place, it is only water that is a challenge. Water and court cases. On those critical two things are what is happening. So, as government, we want to see ways and means of investing in infrastructure.
Barabara pia kidogo serikali ishughulikie kwa sababu ukiangalia hali halisi na wakati wa mvua hii barabara inakuwa ina changamoto nyingi sana, na kwa sababu hii ni mazao ya kutoka shambani, barabara ikiwa nzuri hiyo inakuwa hata ni vizuri hata zaidi.
And to a disturbing news where a disturbing pattern of child dumping in Tharaka Nithi County has once again come to light after a baby was discovered abandoned in a thicket by a passerby on Thursday night. This latest case brings the number of infants found dumped in various parts of the county to 7 within just 2 months. All the 7 found are between days old and 3 months, and all of the 7 babies were boys, and only 2 of them were found alive. The infant found alive in the bush between Tharaka and Weru had a branula that is attached, suggesting the baby may have been under medical care. Authorities and community leaders fear this could point to a larger, more dangerous operation, possibly involving stolen babies. Speaking at Chuka Referral Hospital, where the child was rushed for treatment, County Government Gender Chief Officer Ms. Kelly Rigi Karimi condemned the continued silence and inaction by the police. The county government is calling on the national government to step in and initiate a multi-agency investigation, citing fears that Tharaka Nithi could become a hotspot for child trafficking or organized criminal activity involving infants.
Wanakijiji, kama uko mahali unajua kuna mtu ambaye alikuwa anatarajia mtoto na sasa hivi unaona kabisa huyo mtu amejifungua lakini hauoni mtoto, tuko na namba ambayo unaweza tupigia, ambayo tunaweza fuatilia hii mambo. Namba yetu ya county toll free ni 1530. Ukipiga sasa hivi useme kuna mtu ambaye nilikuwa na suspect akona mtoto, na si lazima ikuwe huyo mtu ndiye ametupa mtoto, lakini pamoja na polisi, pamoja na CID tutafanya upelelezi tujue huyu mtu alipeleka mtoto wapi, ama tujue huyo mtoto specifically aliwekwa wapi. Kama huyu tuko na bahati yako hai, lakini watoto kama 4 hivi or so wamekuwa tukipata ambao wamekufa, wengine hata wamekatakatwa, wengine hata wametobolewa macho. Unashangaa mtu ambaye anaua mtoto kwa kitendo kama hiyo.
Quite disturbing. And away from that, journalist Fred Mochama of KBC and Victor Mogor of K24 found themselves on the receiving end of an assault by alleged goons hired by a private developer to man a building on a disputed parcel of land. The two journalists had gone to cover Choka residents who had taken to the streets protesting against the controversy and the redirecting of the drainage system, which has left most of them living in poor hygienic conditions. The goons are reported to have robbed them of a camera, a tripod stand, and a smartphone.
It started as any other routine day at a field assignment for these journalists covering these protesters who say a private developer is wreaking havoc in the Choka neighborhood. For these irate folk, these poor hygienic conditions are as a result of unlawful practices that have made life unbearable in this neighborhood.
He has 2 buildings around this place. Yeye alianza kujenga akainua barabara such that maji imekuwa ikisumbua wakazi wa hapa, na akiambiwa hata hataki kujua. Yeye anasema yeye ni tajiri, yeye aishi hapa, so sisi watu wa huku wakae na shida zao.
Hiyo sehemu ambayo amenyakua ambayo ni playing ground ya watoto wetu na pia ni parking space, hata emergency hata ikitokea hatuwezi pata any help. So alinyakua hapo na sasa hii ni kujenga, anajenga.
Akijenga mahali kwingine anainamisha maji naenda kwa wale wengine walijenga kitambo.
Adding salt to injury, the residents say they have filed their complaints with the relevant authorities, but their cries have so far fallen on deaf ears.
Tumeenda polisi, tumeenda kwa chief, tumeenda kwa kanjo, kwa DO, mpaka MP, mpaka MCA. Na bado tumeenda mpaka nimejaribu contact Mosiri, ameniambia niende polisi, na polisi hakuna kitu inatusaidia.
Tukaenda kuripoti, lakini wale ambao walikuwa hapo walitu brush off, hawakutaka kutuandikia statement.
The process soon turned chaotic as alleged goons started approaching the protesters and journalists wielding sticks. This was the aftermath.
Majamaa wametufahamia, wako na marungu na mapanga, wametupiga. Mkiona hivi unaona vile wametufanya, kichwa wametupiga kila mahali. Vile mnatuona hivi ni vile tu tunaongea. So polisi walikuwa, mimi kitu nashindwa, polisi walikuwa na tunapigwa mbele ya polisi.
The journalists questioning the motive of the alleged goons who stole a camera, tripod stand and smartphone from them.
Marungu wamenipasua kichwa, wamejaribu kutumia panga kunikata, ndio kamera ikaanguka, wakachukua kamera na mgongo, mkono, kichwa. Kwa hivyo hospitali at least ndio tutajua damage ni kiasi gani. Kuna mtu mmoja namjua ambaye anaitwa Stefano, na tukiendelea zaidi ndio tutajua. Nasikia yeye ndiye alikuwa anasimamia hiyo kikosi.
After reporting the matter at Rai police station, the injured journalists will then seek medical attention at a nearby health facility, even as they called on the authorities to apprehend the alleged culprits and have them answer for their crimes. Yusufar reporting for Lunchtime News.
Thank you, Yusufar, for that report. And on that note, we take a short break, but we'll be back with more news.
Looking to advertise on KBC? KBC announcement services are now available on eCitizen. Visit kbc.ecitizen.go.ke and fill out the online application form. It's simple. 1. Complete the form. 2. Upload required documents. 3. Receive a quotation based on word count. And 4. Get notified via SMS when your announcement is ready. Please note, clearly indicate the type of announcement, service station, and all relevant details. 2. All applications must be made online only. Manual submissions will not be accepted. And 3. Announcements will air after news bulletins. For assistance, reach us on email ecitizen@kbc.co.ke or use our social media handles, Facebook, your Facebook account, and X at your X account. Or you can call us on 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124. KBC announcements. Simple, fast, and digital.
When you think of gold, platinum, silver, and copper, your mind likely goes straight to luxury jewelry or high-end electronics. Moringa, peppermint, and platinum designed to detox from within. Each sip was herbal, minty, and surprisingly smooth.
This, when it goes into the body, it actually pushes out all the toxins.
Well, and if you just want to own a little piece of luxury, that is copper, whether gold or silver, do join us this Sunday as we speak precious metals and your health.
The men and women in boats, they are commanded to defend and protect the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Republic of Kenya. Their bravery knows no limits.
Make a man go through the wall without breaking the wall.
Laziness, it is not in our vocabulary.
But what are their stories, their tales? Military Tales, every Saturday at 9 p.m. with Ben Troy Joe.
Women's Africa Cup of Nations, Morocco.
Feel the pulse of a continent where Africa's fiercest women warriors clash for glory in the Women's Africa Cup of Nations 2024. Africa's top teams, one crown. Morocco hosts once more, ready to etch new legends into history. Rising stars, one stage to shine.
And it is the Copper Queens. They have been waiting for this moment. Here's a chance for a second. South African lead by 2-0 in this final, and he'll never higher.
This is more than football, it's African excellence. It's women's power. Don't miss WAFCON 2024, live from Morocco.
Thank you for staying with us. We continue with the news where Kericho County Governor, that is Eric Mutai, has condemned the June 25th protest, which led to the destruction of property and loss of lives. Speaking at Kiprugut Chumo Stadium during graduation of 500 widows who underwent empowerment program, the governor said everyone has a right to carry out protests, but accused the opposition in what he termed as sponsoring violence to withdraw a legitimate government. Similarly, a section of elders from Garissa are now calling on the government not to allow any more demonstrations that they say are only leading to death and destruction of property.
Speaking during an empowerment program in Kericho County, Governor Eric Mutai said the opposition can disagree with President William Ruto, but should not be allowed to take the country into anarchy in the name of protests, calling for arrest of financiers.
We beg to disagree with the politicians that are using our children to commit evil and atrocities. What happened was violence sponsored by opposition politicians to withdraw a legitimate government.
The Kericho County boss called on Kenyans to embrace nationhood and nationalism and desist from tribal politics.
Moi almost went through a coup d'etat of 1982. Today, President Ruto is also facing another almost coup d'etat. What is this pain that when the president is in this region, nobody is happy about it?
Similarly, a section of elders from Garissa County are calling on the government not to allow any more demonstrations that they say are only leading to death, destruction of property and lawlessness.
Demonstration in Africa has always been violent and very destructive. And that is what is happening in this country. If some politicians in this country, particularly members of the opposition, if they think this is a political uprising, we are telling them no.
Led by Kenya Livestock Marketing Council Chairman Dubat Ame, the elders say that while the right of peaceful assembly and expression is enshrined in the Constitution, the increasing tensions, destruction of property and risk of human life are deeply troubling.
Tafadhali wa Kenya wenzangu, maandamano hii mnayoifanya inasababisha Kenya ianguke kwa shimo.
I was there wakati ya 1982. Ile makosa tuliona kitendeka, ilipigwa, aliyomo na asikuwamo. Sisi hatutaki kitu kama hiyo rudia. Na nyinyi watoto mnafanya maandamano. Mfanye maandamano ya amani. Bunge la wananchi, nguvu mashinani.
Elsewhere, Bunge la Mwananchi has petitioned the Office of Director of Public Prosecutions to take immediate action against individuals involved in acts of violence, looting and destruction of property.
Time has come when those who are responsible, not just the radical anarchists, not just the criminal perpetrators, but their sponsors and enablers must be held accountable in accordance with the law.
Gisho Kiwashira, Lunchtime News.
Thank you, Gisho Kiwashira. Now, fraudulent claims and digital disruption have caused huge losses to the motor insurance sector in Kenya. To cut these vices, players in the sector are exploring technology and pricing models that are more realistic.
A night of glitz and gratitude in Nairobi as Direct Line Assurance marked 20 years of navigating one of the toughest terrains in insurance, Kenya's public service vehicle sector.
The future of this organization is anchored on cementing business relations with our partners.
But behind the glamour is a sobering story. Motor insurance, which made up over 33% of general insurance premiums last year, is also bleeding the most, with losses topping 7 billion shillings across the industry in 2024, according to the Insurance Regulatory Authority. Direct Line hopes to change the tide through tech tools like BimaTap, mobile agent networks, and a growing focus on motorcycle and private car cover.
Our key pillars is in the information technology or infrastructure that we've built in-house. It has enabled us to provide seamless services, particularly in the settlement of claims, which is a shopping window of any insurance company.
With Kenya's vehicle numbers crossing 4.5 million and climbing, the pressure is on for motor insurers to modernize or fall behind. Industry analysts say the future will depend on faster claims, AI-driven fraud detection, and pricing models that reflect real risk.
Thank you, Edward Kabasa. Now let's look at intercommunal conflicts where residents of Galmak location, that is in Garsen constituency, Tana River County, are protesting the government's plan to develop new villages known as clusters, saying the initiative favors only one community. Now, the residents argue that the plan was ruled out without proper consultation and warn that it could ignite inter-community conflict if not addressed. They say the unchecked expansion of these villages is increasing tension between pastoralist and farming communities.
Katika upande wa clusters, sisi kama kuna umoja
tumebanwa sisi, tumetolewa katika upande wa cluster, hatuko. Ni jamii moja peke yake ndio wanafanyiwa ukikala, sisi hatuko. Kama tungehusishwa, jibu lingepatikana kutoka kwetu na hakuna shida. So tunaomba tuhusishwe, na kama hatutahusishwa haitaendelea hiyo, hatutakubali.
To matters gender-based violence, where the Gender Cabinet Secretary Hannah Cheptumo is calling for urgent community action to restore family values and embrace dialogue in the fight against the rising cases of gender-based violence across the country. Speaking during the national GBV sensitization campaign in Nyeri, Gender CS Hannah Cheptumo warned that many family disputes escalating into violence could be prevented through conversation and mutual understanding. The rising cases of sexual and gender-based violence in Kenya have prompted a strong call to action from the Gender Cabinet Secretary Hannah Cheptumo. Addressing over 2,000 widows at Kiamweru Church in Nyeri County, the CS emphasized the urgent need for families and communities to return to dialogue as a way of resolving disputes peacefully.
Hii uvumilivu ambayo ilikuwa zamani ilienda wapi? Hiyo ni ile conversation lazima tukue nayo, vile PS alisema. Hii kitu ya kusema pole, ukikozea mtu, kusema pole ni ngumu kweli? We must go back to where we were. We must bring back the family to where it used to be. Na heshima irudi katika familia. Kama wewe ni mzee, kama mzee. Kama wewe ni kijana, ujue wakati yako ni mrefu, enjoy your youthfulness.
Her comments come in the wake of a report by the Kenya Institute for Public Policy Research that 34% of women in the country have experienced physical violence since the age of 15, and 13% have faced sexual violence. Of 8,149 reported SGBV cases in 2021, 92% of the victims were women. Of concern is that many cases go unreported due to fear, stigma and isolation. Nyeri County Commissioner Ronald Mwiwawi outlined some of the county's immediate interventions against GBV, with Nyeri Town Member of Parliament Duncan Mathenge calling for the abolition of so-called kangaroo courts that denied victims true justice.
Kesi za mtoto kushikwa ati kwa sababu ni katika familia, hiyo tumekataa.
Tumefanya makongamano 5 ya wanaume kukaa pamoja, kuzungumziana, kuambiana mambo yao ya kibinafsi, na tumeona wanaume wamefunguka. Wengine wao wanasema wanakufa kimawazo kwa sababu ya nani? Ya kina mama. Fungueni mioyo ya upendo, pendeni hawa wazee, pendeni hawa wanaume, ili tuwatulize kimawazo.
The leaders collectively called for a multi-sectoral approach to ending GBV anchored on education, policy enforcement and restoration of family values. Over now to sports, where over 2,000 delegates are expected to decide the next leadership of AFC Leopards Football Club in an election set for tomorrow. Former Leopards commercial director, that is Enos Mutoka, and club legend Boniface Ambani will fight for leadership of the oldest community club in Kenya for the next 4 years.
Former AFC Leopards commercial director Enos Mutoka has exuded confidence of emerging victorious in tomorrow's election, saying he is keen to change the club if elected.
Once I'm elected as chairman, I want to make sure that this club, going forward in the next 2 years, we must be able to have more than 3 sponsors on board so that we stabilize our finances. And in so doing, we want to make sure that we get finances that will help us to renew the contracts that we are talking about in the short term. But going forward in the long term, we need to make sure that we get finances for this club to be able to sign the quality that can compete not only here in our league, but also in Africa.
Mutoka will face off with club legend and former international Boniface Ambani in a 2-horse race.
We have 17 contracts of players which are coming to an end. And the first thing, once we get to the office, we must make sure that we maintain this squad. Those contracts that needs to be renewed will be renewed, and a few of them who needs to be dropped will be dropped. But I don't want to do an overhaul of the team. I want to maintain the current squad and do a readjustment, just a few additions, so that we go fighting for the season this coming season.
The winner will succeed former player and Nairobi FKF NEC member Dan Shikanda, who has served for 2 terms.
We must make sure that we segment our merchandise, make it affordable and quality and affordable, so that we don't just have a blanket prices for merchandise, but we can have them in a segmented way, so that every fan, every member, every supporter of this club gets the merchandise they want at their pocket-friendly prices.
Over 2,000 delegates will decide the fate of leadership for the next 4 years.
I don't think, to me, myself, I believe in myself. I believe in what I can do. I've done it. It's not rocket science. As I said, I've been in football for all those years. I've grown in football, lived in football. I've never left. So it's a challenge. Yeah. It's a challenge. Now the transition from being a fan, a footballer of the club, a coach, and now into leadership. So I know it's a challenge, a tough one, but I know what I want, and I believe. And the best thing, I believe in myself. And given a chance by the fans, 100% sure, I'll give them what they have not been getting for the past years.
Leopards finished 6th in this season's FKF Premier League season with 51 points, 14 points behind champions Kenya Police. They won 12 matches, drew 15 and lost 7 times in the 34 matches they played, to finish just 8 points behind rivals Gor Mahia, who settled for 2nd position.
Now, Kibera soccer women will face Vihiga Queens this afternoon in the FKF Women's Cup final at Afra Stadium in Nakuru. The match was originally scheduled for June the 14th, but was postponed due to accommodate the Harambee Starlets' participation in the 2025 Sekafa Senior Women's Championship, which concluded last Sunday, that is in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. Women booked their place in the final. Semi-final reigning FKF Kenya Police Bowler. Vihiga Queens secured hard 4-2-1 win against Bungoma Queens in a semi-final clash held at the Mumia Sports Complex, with 3-time champions Ulinzi Starlets eliminated in the quarterfinals after a 4-3 loss to Kibera Soccer Women. This year's competition will see
na morali iko juu.
Nimejiandaa vizuri kwenda
tumeweza kama Burundi na imekuwa match ngumu, si rahisi.
We've come to the end of the news this afternoon. On behalf of everyone, a news program possible. Thank you so much. My colleague on the side is Anne Wangeshi. I'm Marie Yambo.
Wiki fuga ng'ombe wa maziwa,
kisha tuongeze maziwa yake thamana.
Ningia wajoin kufanya value addition. Pesa nyingi maziwa fresh. Niko na soko ya ice.
Zama Mkulima Jumamosi hii saa 10:30 hapa KBC.
Tukupe uhondo kamili.
We are talking about infertility. A lot of understanding from a society that equates motherhood to womanhood.
And then you also start wondering, am I broken? Is there something wrong with me? Am I not a woman enough? Yes. Am I, like you start owning the blame and the shame.
Anatomical factors like the varicocele. Varicocele can happen. Men are fertile in their 20s or early 30s, but after the varicocele, it can affect the sperm productions.
It would be so devastating. Like there are times I have cried in the bathroom, there are times I have cried in the shower, there are times I've cried on the bathroom floor, just wondering, God, like what is this? Like why would this be happening to me?
At least go to the screening about fertility screening, whether they are having a problem or not. Otherwise, they will keep on hoping and trying or delaying for social reason or for any career reason. And then when they plan for the baby, then it's not then working.
Hujambo mtazamaji, mahali popote ulipo mchana wa leo, tunakukaribisha kwenye makala mengine ya Dunia Wiki Hii.
Ni makala ambayo yanaangazia taarifa za kimataifa kwa ushirikiano mkubwa sana wa shirika la utangazaji nchini KBC na shirika la Xinhua.
Ada kwenye makala haya tumekuandalia mengi kutoka ulingo wa kimataifa, na baadhi ya taarifa ambazo tumekuandalia siku ya leo ni kuhusiana na rais wa Iran ambaye ametangaza kukomeshwa kwa vita vilivyodumu kwa siku 12, huku rais wa Uturuki akisifu mkataba huo wa kusitisha vita baina ya Israel na Iran na kutoa wito wa diplomasia.
19 wauawa kwenye shambulizi la kujitoa mhanga kufa kwenye kanisa moja jijini Damascus, Syria, wakati wa ibada ya Jumapili.
Kando na hayo mtazamaji, Somalia yazindua ruwaza ya mwaka 2060 ili kuleta ustawi wa kitaifa.
Basi tuende sawa kwa taarifa hizo na nyingine lukuki ndani ya kipindi Dunia Wiki Hii.
Na mtazamaji, karibu kwenye makala ya leo. Mimi naitwa Beatrice Gatonyengetich.
Karibu sana, mimi ni